Chapter 91 ignites as Alex becomes a walking singularity, pulling energy into himself until the very air freezes, and matter stands still in apocalyptic calm, engulfing a 20-meter void where even molecules dare not move. Red Hulk, ablaze with raw power, stands defiant but falters as his energy bleeds away into Alex's ever-hungry core. Arc reactors flicker out one by one, his fiery form dimming to a lifeless chill. System pings echo in Alex's mind like a silent countdown. Energy points +1. Energy points +1. Until at last, the Red Hulk's strength vanishes entirely, leaving only dust carried off by frozen winds. With a quiet, knowing smile, Alex rises above a shattered base, his silhouette framed by the ruins and silence below a cosmic force now fully awakened. Hovering above the military base, Alex locked onto Stryker and his crew with razor-sharp perception, watching as they vanished into a swirling portal-and escape route into a parallel universe. But this wasn't the old Alex. With level 4 teleportation mastery, no dimension could shield Stryker now. With one beat of radiant wings, Alex flashed into a shielded chamber, conjuring a glowing purple dagger from pure will. In a blur, he shattered the adamantium walls like glass, triggering alarms for the Fantastic Four, who trusted their high-tech barrier to hold him off. That barrier disintegrated anything on contact, guzzling arc reactor energy like candy every 3 seconds, but they hoped it would buy them time. It didn't. Face to face at last, Alex stood before Stryker, the man who'd hunted him across realities, the man whose crusade against mutants had just been unraveled by the one force he couldn't predict. Alex's will made manifest. The government, terrified of Alex's unstoppable power, had no choice but to pass laws freeing mutants, erasing everything Stryker had built. Stryker's grip on power crumbled, his failures piling high, leaving him clinging to secret funding just to keep his shattered dreams alive. With clenched teeth, he hissed, "Cursed mutant, just wait, the next time we meet will be your end." But Alex just chuckled, brushing him off like dust on his sleeve. Then the cold voice of a new threat cut through. "Alex, you're chaos incarnate. Your power could unravel the multiverse. Next time we meet, I'll erase you," came the icy words. Unfazed, Alex's eyes glinted as he asked, "Are you sure you can escape?" The answer was a confident smile. But the battle of destiny had only just begun. "With your current abilities, crossing between parallel universes is impossible," the voice echoed, laced with smug certainty. "Even if you gain that power, how will you find us in the vast multiverse?" He smirked, intellect blazing behind his gaze, a confidence rebuilt after Alex had once shattered it. "We will meet again," he declared, stepping into the dimensional gate with his team, vanishing as the energy shield blinked out, but Alex stood still, unfazed. With a silent flex of will, he erased everything within a kilometer, eliminating the last remnants of space disruptors. Then, calmly, he tore open his own portal. A smile curled on his lips as he stared into the stunned eyes of his rival. "We meet again," he said as reality bent around him. "You?" came the incredulous reply, but it was too late. Alex had already rewritten the rules. Fantastic stood frozen, mind reeling how had Alex crossed into this universe, let alone found them, but there was no time. Reed snapped back, yelling for his team to run. He had sent the others away, hoping they'd escape to a safer universe. Too late. They were gone. Reed turned and there stood Alex, calm and unshaken, with the missing teammates trapped in a warped energy field. Their powers flared uselessly as Alex seized the invisible woman by the throat, lifting her with disturbing ease. The Human Torch and the Thing roared in protest, but Alex just smiled at Reed. "I believe the Fantastic Four threatened the multiverse, so I sentence you all." Energy surged, veins of light ripping through Sue's body. "No!" Fantastic stood frozen, mind reeling how had Alex crossed into this universe, let alone found them, but there was no time. Reed snapped back, yelling for his team to run. He had sent the others away, hoping they'd escape to a safer universe. Too late. They were gone. Reed turned and there stood Alex, calm and unshaken, with the missing teammates trapped in a warped energy field. Their powers flared uselessly as Alex seized the invisible woman by the throat, lifting her with disturbing ease. The Human Torch and the Thing roared in protest, but Alex just smiled at Reed. "I believe the Fantastic Four threatened the multiverse, so I sentence you all." Energy surged, veins of light ripping through Sue's body. "No!" Mr. Fantastic had said it was impossible, but here he was, facing the impossible. Stryker's mind cracked beneath the weight of fear, haunted by the cold presence of white hair and the looming edge of death. "This must be a dream! This has to be a dream!" he cried, spiraling into madness. But Alex wasn't about to let the story end on such a flat note. With quiet resolve and that eerie glint of mercy, he stepped forward, ready to unleash the reverse curse technique's power to heal not just wounds, but broken mind. Even Stryker's unraveling sanity was no match for it. As Alex advanced, two of Stryker's followers tried to slip away unnoticed, but the moment Alex's gaze locked onto them, the leader flinched, twisting his grotesque face into a pitiful grin. "Alex, could you spare me?" he begged, voice shaking. "I could be of use to you." Ivan chimed in fast, eager. Alex paused, gaze sharp as a blade, then nodded. "You're clever, both of you. Useful." Hope sparked, but it was crushed in a flash as a brutal force slammed into Leader, green blood exploding everywhere, blinding Ivan. Shaking, smeared in gore, he wiped his face just in time to hear a chilling whisper, "Too bad, you're too ugly for my liking." Panic rising, Ivan slicked back his hair, forced a grin. "Alex, I'm not ugly, I'm not." Alex's eyes flicked over him, unreadable, then said coolly, "A little ugly." Ivan froze until Alex added, "But still somewhat human." Ivan finally let down his guard, practically wagging his invisible tail as he pledged his life in desperate loyalty. But before he could even finish the words, the twisted force field devoured him, fusing the red and green blood into one grotesque smear. The mutant's voice echoed, cold and amused. Too bad lifting his left foot sealed his fate. Without sparing the grotesque mess a glance, Alex stepped forward, calmly using his reverse curse technique to bring Stryker back to sanity. Flashing a bright, unsettling smile, Alex whispered to the bewildered man, "They had all the time in the world, no need to rush." The chilling soundscape of screams and shattering bones stretched on endlessly until silence reigned. Stepping through a glowing portal back to his home universe, Alex felt a weight lift from his soul, the bitter thorn finally gone. At last, in the quiet of his seaside villa, he sank into deep, untroubled sleep. Every last enemy on Earth erased, his path now utterly clear. Is this conversation helpful so far? No one could threaten him anymore. Alex's storm had finally quieted. Days passed in tranquil intensity as he honed his command over vector manipulation and the enigmatic wings of the unknown. In this silence, a revelation sparked. White Wing and Black Wing weren't rivals, but reflections. Training one summoned strength in the other. The lore confirmed it. White Wing, the evolution of Black, carried its legacy within. And as that knowledge crystallized, so did his power. 10 days in, the shift was real. Vector manipulation +1 experience point. Then, the surge. Congratulations! Your skill, vector manipulation, has leveled up. Level 3 unlocked, granting dominion over the flow of force, momentum, even the invisible web of magnetic fields and electric tides. He didn't just control motion, he understood the pulse of the universe itself. As Alex unlocked the next level of both Black Wing and White Wing of the unknown, ethereal forces surged into form-space warping wings that pulsed with raw power, dark and light entwined. With his energy absorption now at level 5, his command over energy precision soared, propelling his skills forward at lightning pace. For 10 straight days, Alex pushed vector manipulation to level 3, mastering the art of reflecting and analyzing any force he could comprehend. His brain, more machine than man, fused with the legendary Six Eyes, granting him vision into the very essence of energy itself. Though his fusion template was only 36% complete, it was enough to wield 3 Infinity Stones in orbit, each drawing in colossal streams of energy to drive him toward full synchronization. Every calculation, every force, every spark, Alex wasn't just becoming powerful, he was becoming the equation itself. A circle blazes beneath his feet, and suddenly he stands atop a roaring seaside volcano, magma glowing like a cosmic forge. With his 6 eyes piercing deep below, he watches the molten currents churn. As the countdown begins, only days remain before the Celestials descend, and he must craft their gift. The slumbering titan within Earth's core stirs faintly, the perfect vessel waiting to awaken. This is the closest point to its birth, and seeing no other energy signatures in his vision, he dives straight into the inferno. Magma rages, heat cracks the air, yet nothing touches him. His energy shields his body, even his clothes remain untouched. Pressure mounts as he descends farther through liquid fire into solid stone, violet illusions swirling around him to carve a path deeper still. Then, at the edge of the unseen, where the rock turns to silence, he stops. Through his 6 eyes, he beheld a colossal slumbering figure deep beneath the earth, radiating raw cosmic energy like a legendary titan poised for awakening. Blazing heat poured from the planet's core, feeding the growth of the massive celestial creatures born within worlds, absorbing lifeblood until their rise meant planetary collapse. Standing before the infant celestial, he gave a sly smile and touched its brow, golden energy from the Mind Stone threading into the being's very consciousness. Even a full-grown celestial couldn't withstand such power. This fledgling had no chance. Slowly, its mind bent, reshaped under his will, until its glowing body pulsed with obedient calm. Satisfied, he opened a portal and vanished back to his seaside refuge. The stage was set, the pieces moving only, the arrival of the Celestials remained. Time drifted on until, unexpectedly, a battered figure appeared, bruised, scorched, and shaken. With a flicker of golden light, he healed the wounded man and, with quiet curiosity, asked, "What did you do to get injured?" A circle blazes beneath his feet, and suddenly he stands atop a roaring seaside volcano, magma glowing like a cosmic forge. With his 6 eyes piercing deep below, he watches the molten currents churn. As the countdown begins, only days remain before the Celestials descend, and he must craft their gift. The slumbering titan within Earth's core stirs faintly, the perfect vessel waiting to awaken. This is the closest point to its birth, and seeing no other energy signatures in his vision, he dives straight into the inferno. Magma rages, heat cracks the air, yet nothing touches him. His energy shields his body, even his clothes remain untouched. Pressure mounts as he descends farther through liquid fire into solid stone, violet illusions swirling around him to carve a path deeper still. Then, at the edge of the unseen, where the rock turns to silence, he stops. Tony had mastered magic and technology, wielding a symbiote and nearly completing his nano armor, becoming powerful enough to surpass even the Hulk. The Sorcerer Supreme herself acknowledged his strength, promising to pass on her mantle once Alex departed the universe, trusting Tony to defend Earth until Doctor Strange returned. But even with this power, Tony was wounded and ambushed while resting by dozens with glowing red skin. He fought back with magic and armor but couldn't escape injury. Grateful for Alex's healing gift, which fixed even a broken bone in seconds, Tony was stunned when Alex identified the attackers as extremist enhanced superhumans without ever being told. After seeing Stark off, Alex dives into research on his pocket dimension, his strength surging even though the limitless technique stays at level 4, its power now blazing beyond before as his pocket dimension swells to thousands of cubic meters. He realizes that once his template breaches the single universe boundary into multiverse territory, infinity stones and lesser energies won't cut it anymore. So, he makes a daring plan: create a universe. With his mind plunged into the pocket dimension, he ignites the eternal flame, a burning sun lighting up the void, energy swirling under his precise barrier technique to stabilize and expand the realm. Then comes the casket of ancient winters, unleashing a frozen crust of land from below, ice and fire dancing together, yin and yang forging the foundation. Under Alex's fierce focus, the pocket dimension stabilizes and keeps growing, pushing outward until it stretches vast enough to rival a small town. As the raw forces intertwined, they birth a new energy sharper, richer, brimming with future potential, yet still shy of the legendary Infinity Stone. But this was only the start, the eternal flame fusing with the casket of ancient winters. Imagine the Phoenix Force unleashed, merged with higher dimensional currents that would break past even the stone's limits. Alex knew it. His instincts, sharpened by the 6 eyes and his growing mastery over energy, whispered that even a shard of the Phoenix Force could soon be his to command. Once his powers climbed to levels 8 or 9, he'd seize total control over these fragments, reshaping his pocket dimension into a limitless multiverse, ascending beyond imagination. With his barrier technique locking the realm in place, he mapped a 5-year mission. Hunt down infinite energy treasures across countless realities, push his dimension toward universal, then multiversal scale, tap vast energy wells to awaken new powers, sharpen every skill to perfection. Just as the ambient energy faded, ready to head out to a celebration, Alex froze his senses, screamed. Above, a colossal figure loomed, vast beyond measure, radiating raw cosmic might, its form dwarfing Earth itself, its wild power visible to the naked eye, the air itself trembling in awe. Odin stood burdened by the weight of kingship, forced to choose Asgard's safety over Old Detch's power faded, the destroyer armor lost, and hope resting solely on the judge's verdict. But Alex? Alex faced the towering Celestial with fire in his soul and a grin on his lips. White wings burst open behind him, 30 meters of sheer defiance. 3 Infinity Stones blazed into orbit around him, their energy feeding into his core without hesitation. With vectors swirling and space bending, his 6 eyes locked onto victory, calibrating every atom of his being. This wasn't fear, this was an invitation. Come, Celestial, time to receive your gift. Odin stood torn, bound by the crown and the weight of Asgard's fate. He couldn't risk his people, even for one who had once saved them. The destroyer armor was long gone, his youth a memory, and all he could do was hope the cosmic judge saw Alex's truth. But Alex? He was fire incarnate, eyes blazing at the titan beyond the horizon. Wings of searing light erupted from his back, power thrumming through his frame. Infinity Stones swirled in orbit, feeding him raw force as space cracked beneath his feet. With 6 eyes glowing and every atom of his being dialed to perfection, Alex rose, a singular storm of will. No fear, no hesitation. Come, Celestial, he whispered, and receive your gift. Is this conversation helpful so far? Chapter 94. Arishem looms over Earth like a colossal canopy, his arrival shaking the sky itself. He scans the planet, stunned to discover that the Eternals he sent have been neutralized not by deviants, but by a lone mutant descended from them. Intrigued by this twist, he locks onto Alex, waves of energy forming massive rings to drag him upward. But as the bindings tighten, black and red currents erupt from Alex's body like a furious starburst, shattering the restraints and tearing through the air with the force of a supernova. Is this conversation helpful so far? Chapter 94. Arishem looms over Earth like a colossal canopy, his arrival shaking the sky itself. He scans the planet, stunned to discover that the Eternals he sent have been neutralized, not by deviants, but by a lone mutant descended from them. Intrigued by this twist, he locks onto Alex, waves of energy forming massive rings to drag him upward. But as the bindings tighten, black and red currents erupt from Alex's body like a furious starburst, shattering the restraints and tearing through the air with the force of a supernova. Is this conversation helpful so far? Arishem's eyes narrow, and with a flick of his hand, rings of searing energy multiply, encasing Alex in a blazing prison. Even his strongest reversal technique can't crack. But as purple lightning ignites and space itself seems to collapse around him, those indestructible rings shatter like glass, obliterated by the impossible weight of his power. For the first time, Arishem looks at him not as a nuisance, but as something worthy of his voice. Manipulating repulsive and gravitational forces to distort space, the seed of creation itself. How did you come by this? His words rumble through the void, no longer hidden in thought, for even his mind cannot pierce Alex's book. Calmly, Alex steps deeper into the starless expanse and answers. I earned it through my talent and hard work. The Celestial only stares, silent, knowing no mortal could ascend so far by will alone. Finally, Alex meets his gaze and asks, "So, how do you plan to judge me? Life or death?" Arishem loomed silent, scanning Alex with crackling energy before his colossal voice thundered, "Your unknown mutant gift has value, so you may live. But for neutralizing my Eternals and disrupting the Celestial's birth, you will be punished. You shall become a new Eternal, memories erased, condemned to a lonely eternity guarding the nascent Celestial." Alex, unshaken, stared back and asked, "What gives you the right to judge me?" The answer rolled across the sky. "We are the Celestial's creators, protectors. You may question us, but never defy us." His voice boomed through Earth, stirring awe and fear. Humanity watched, divided, some silently rooting for Alex, others praying he would not bring the cleansing that would follow his defiance. On screens and feeds everywhere, words lit up. "Go, Bratha, you're the best. That dumb Celestial doesn't stand a chance. Keep going, we'll always support you. White-haired mutant is unbeatable." But in the shadows of the digital streets, voices clashed in fury. "Damn that white-haired mutant. Even this so-called Celestial has come to judge him. His end is near. The white-haired mutant will fall. Humanity won't bow to a lowly mutant. The true rulers of this world are humans. No matter how triumphant a mutant seems, they'll ultimately be crushed." Yet for the mutants, their champion had already become legend. A hero painted in rebellion's colors after he brought down the military and shattered the White House. Their cries rose to a fever pitch. "All hail the savior! Destroy that arrogant Celestial! You're invincible!" There's no way he could fail it. At least, that's what the hopefuls thought. But those attuned to the truth, the ancient watchers, the cosmic guardians, looked on with unease as Alex Locke stood before Arishem. While the world buzzed with speculation, Alex remained unfazed, focused only on the impossible figure in front of him. The moment had come. Calm and fearless, he asked, "What if I resist?" Arishem's response was cold and unshaken. No more words. The Infinity Stones blazed to life around Alex, fusing into a radiant force. With a surge of cosmic defiance, he extended his finger, forging a singularity that erupted into a roaring red and white supernova technique reversal. Red! Time twisted, space shattered, and the shockwave surged forward. But Arishem, unmoved and absolute, remained untouched and eternal monolith against the storm. With a flicker of thought, he folded space like paper, erasing the supernova in an instant. Arishem, unmoved by such defiance, sneered coldly, "Futile resistance." His mountain-sized hand reached for Alex, bending reality itself around him, but Alex, shielded by a mysterious immunity, stood unbroken. As time warped and minds trembled, even Odin and the Sorcerer Supreme saw the inevitable. Alex would fall, transformed, his secrets laid bare. But then boom! A portal the size of a mountain cracked open before Alex, and an equally colossal hand intercepted the strike. From the swirling magma, a titan emerged to stand with Alex, staring down the godlike judge. Arishem, for the first time in ages, faltered. "Mortal! You dare halt the rise of a new Celestial?" Alex's smirk was ice cold. "What did you expect? That I'd just let you suck Earth dry and smile about it?" Arishem raged, declaring Earth's sacrifice in honor. But Alex's voice cut through the stars, firm and final. To hell with your honor. My fate is mine to decide, and no one else's, Alex roared, standing tall against the cosmic judgment. Arisham's voice thundered with wrath, declaring Alex worthy only of death, but Alex didn't flinch. With a calm yet defiant stare, he summoned the power of 3 Infinity Stones, driving them straight into the infant Celestial's forehead. Arisham lashed out, energy bursting forth to stop him, but it was too late. The stones surged, awakening the dormant godchild with a blinding blaze of power, its form swelling to rival Arisham's own. 2 Titans now faced off-creator versus awakened force, but the energy fueling the newborn Celestial came at a cost. Its life, drawn from the stones, would burn hot and fast, ending in sacrificial return to Earth. Arisham, seething with rage, accused Alex of twisting a divine being into a weapon of war, enslaving its will with the Mind Stone. But Alex gave no defense, only a chilling question that echoed through the stars. Celestial, do you bleed? Under the stunned gaze of cosmic titans and every trembling soul on Earth, the Infinity Stones erupted with primal light as Alex Locke merged with the infant Celestial, seizing total control, then hurled a supernova, moon-sized and blazing, straight into Arisham's face, forcing even that ancient giant to stagger back. The air cracked with reality-warping energy as Arisham struck back, locked in a seismic clash with the newly awakened Celestial Avatar. Shockwaves detonated across the void, obliterating everything in their wake. The Sorcerer Supreme, face pale with dread, vanished to Asgard, where Odin joined her in synchrony, unleashing the mirror dimension not to trap the giants, but to cocoon the solar system itself from annihilation. Neither deity could sway the battle. All they could do was shield reality from the fallout. A nearby planet fractured like brittle glass, its surface tearing apart, while the wave of destruction streaked toward Earth, hitting a lone figure in space, ascending her flying, coughing blood. As she steadied herself, Captain Marvel stared in wide-eyed disbelief toward a home now caught in the storm of titans. Under the stunned stares of the universe's mightiest watchers, the 3 Infinity Stones detonated into a cascade of cosmic fury as Alex dove into the skull of the newborn Celestial, hijacking its colossal form like a living weapon. Then, with a burst of godlike precision, a supernova the size of a moon ignited in its palm and crashed straight into Arisham's face, forcing even the ancient judge to flinch and fall back. Arisham retaliated, charging with raw energy spiraling from his arm, colliding mid-space with Alex's commandeered Titan impact, so massive shockwaves ripped through the void, annihilating everything in their path. The Sorcerer Supreme, eyes wide with horror, blinked to Asgard, syncing with Odin and the Time Stone to conjure the mirror dimension not to trap, but to shield the entire solar system. But even that spell couldn't touch the battling Celestials. All it could do was wrap reality in a veil, buying time from obliteration. The wave of force sliced through a nearby planet like paper, sending its crust into chaos. And farther still, it caught a lone figure in flight, Captain Marvel, who was hurled back, blood trailing through space as she stared, breathless, toward the raging Earth. Do you like this personality? Arisham, the towering judge of the Celestials, had been wounded by a mere mortal. Though his wounds sealed swiftly, fury boiled within him, a blasphemy he could not forgive. Never before had the Cosmic Arbiter been defied like this, and now his verdict burned with personal wrath. You deserve to vanish, he thundered, no longer detached but vengeful. Alex, once dismissed as insignificant, now stood as an undeniable force. Energy Floreta, tidal wave of annihilation that could unmake stars surged forth. Time bent, space cracked, and the very fabric of existence trembled under Arisham's unleashed fury. Alex's form began unraveling under the weight of cosmic judgment. While a stellar beam roared toward him, this was no longer a test, but an execution born of wounded pride. The next time we meet, it won't be a skirmish. I'll be slaying gods. With a smirk, Alex leaves behind a gift bursting with celestial menace. Arisham senses something terrible, but it's already too late. The newborn Celestial pulses with rising power, the 3 Infinity Stones igniting like stars ready to detonate. Inside its mind, Alex opens a portal and steps through, vanishing into a special universe beyond even the Marvel multiverse. Arisham, lost in rage, realizes he's been outmaneuvered, but before his fury can erupt, so does the gift. A planet-sized, purple, imaginary mass forged by the stones in Alex's own layered powers. It detonates in cosmic brilliance, shaking the fabric of everything. The next time we meet, it won't be a mere clash. I'll be toppling cosmic thrones. Before I go, take this parting gift. I hope it sings. Arisham felt the tremor of fate. You will not escape. But it was already too late. Energy far beyond comprehension erupted from the newborn Celestial, its core blazing with the power of 3 Infinity Stone. Inside its mind, Alex opened a portal and stepped across the fabric of countless realities, vanishing from the Marvel multiverse into an equally vast cosmos. Arishem, for the first time in eternity, felt powerless. Fury rose, but before he could act, the gift detonated. A colossal mass of imaginary matter, shaped by Infinity Stones, fueled by celestial potential, and sealed inside like a ticking star. The moment Alex vanished, it exploded a multiversal mic drop that rewrote the rules and left gods in awe. A burst of power ripped the void apart, tearing open a portal to a parallel universe as shockwaves surged toward the towering Celestial. Arishem, desperate to flee, triggered a space jump, but the fabric around him was already fractured, escape impossible. In an instant, a purple blaze struck him head-on, shattering armor stronger than adamantium and exposing the pure energy within. His cry, "Mortal!" roared across galaxies, echoing through empires, igniting chaos across the Skrull, Kree, and Shi'ar civilizations. All turned toward one name, Alex. The Kree, with their deep Earth ties and the Supreme Intelligence's infinite reach, were the first to uncover the truth. Alex, a name now etched into the cosmos, had awakened something even the stars couldn't contain. Just an Earthling? No way it adds up. His powers might have seemed modest, but something's changed, something cosmic. The Celestials feel it. Could he really have stirred their fury? Could one human's evolution threaten beings who judge galaxies? No one knew he'd taken over a newborn Celestial's body. No one imagined he'd strike a Celestial and live to tell the tale. And now, in the black beyond Earth's remains, colossal figures rise from the void, their forms titanic, their eyes locked on Arishem, restored in form but flickering in force. They don't see appearances, they read the pulse of power. And Arishem's pulse dimmed. The great judge was hurt. The question burns through the Star Show: did this Earthling cause the unthinkable? A being beyond imagination emerged on Earth, neither god nor mutant, but a singular anomaly with no echo across the multiverse. Even Odin, clad in the mighty destroyer armor, was dismissed powerless before this force. The Celestials, timeless and vast, stood still as Arishem spoke. He had been wounded, not by weapon or will, but by an imaginary mass matter, unmade, potential untamed. With 3 Infinity Stones and a newborn Celestial under his sway, this human struck at a cosmic judge. One Celestial dared ask, could he create matter? Arishem answered, not yet, but he might rival the likes of Scarlet Witch or Franklin Richards. The silence that followed thundered louder than stars collapsing. Something new had entered the equation, something unpredictable, something limitless. The Scarlet Witch could warp reality beyond comprehension, rivaling even error in message stream retry. Alex injured a Celestial and walked away untouched, impossible, yet real. Chapter 96. New world explodes with mystery as Earth reels from the vanishing of a massive cosmic being and the sudden ripple from the mirror dimension. Humanity watches in awe and panic. Did Whitehair triumph? Was he lost? Or did both vanish into oblivion? Online chaos erupts, theories clash like thunder. A divine victory, a fall into darkness, or mutual annihilation. But for the average person, understanding is a flicker in the storm. They don't know what Celestials are, where they came from, or what just rewrote the laws of their universe. One thing's certain, Alex's vanishing act isn't just a finale, it's the beginning of Earth's next transformation. As the Mind Stone's grip shatters, reality snaps back like a slingshot, and Mystique crashes into it hard. Curled on a bed, her trembling form betrays the chaos unraveling inside. The shapeshifter once admired and desired is now spinning through involuntary transformations, her mind recoiling from the truth. She had served the very hand that ended Charles and infiltrated Xavier's sanctuary. Around her, blank-eyed actresses blink into awareness, clueless to the war that just ended in silence. Meanwhile, high above on the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, agents awaken mid-command, memories leaking back like cold sweat. Fury locks eyes with Coulson, the weight of the Mind Stone's aftermath sinking in. S.H.I.E.L.D., their stronghold, had become a puppet theater rant. If Whitehair had truly fallen to a cosmic entity, maybe Earth dodged a bullet the size of the galaxy. But certainty is a luxury they can't afford. Whitehair may be dust, or just regrouping.